Can you hear me? Good morning. At this time, I'd like you all please rise for colors. At this time, Brian Ahern from the South Boston Allied War Veterans will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the Star-Spangled Banner. Good morning, folks. Please be seated. I will be very brief because it's been a long month, but I do have to get a few thank yous in there. Our sponsors, Mass Bay Credit Union. Not working? Test, 1, 2. Oh. Okay, good morning. I do have to thank our sponsors who make this all possible. We have Comcast, Liberty Bay Credit Union, and Mass Bay Credit Union. All those trophies, awards the children received today, without their help, it wouldn't be possible, so I do got to give them a shout out. So let's hear it for those three. Thank you. We did add a little different twist to the poster and essay contest winners this year, and that's thanks to Jonathan Lane and Suzanne Taylor. Jonathan's with Rev 250. Jonathan, I know you're here somewhere. Jonathan's right there. Let's hear it for Jonathan. And Suzanne Taylor from the Freedom Trail. For those of you who don't know, my name's Tommy McGrath, and I'm the president of the South Boston Citizens Association. Some of you probably do not know what we do. Hold on. What's the matter? Can't hear? Hello? That better? Like I said, we're the oldest civic organization in the country, organized in 1880 and incorporated in 1902. And what we are noticed for is in the late 1890s, South Boston didn't have a high school. and they didn't have a recognition spot for the soldiers of the Revolutionary War. So the South Boston citizens, with their driving force and membership, they were able to create South Boston High, which sits up on the hill, which was a reservoir back in the day, and the monument that is being restored today, which Superintendent Creasy will probably talk about later when I bring him up. But just a little history lesson for those. There's a lot of new people in the community. They do not know what we're all about, and we're trying to get that out. And we have good things coming next year, so just follow social media, and we're going to need participation from everybody. Thank you. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to bring up the Superintendent of the National Park Service in Boston, doing great things up at Dorchester Heights, in Charlestown, or wherever else he's in charge of. I know those are two important ones for us. Michael Creasy.
Thank you, Tommy. Is this mic on? Elizabeth, is this mic on? I don't think it's working. Thank you, Tommy. It's always an honor to co-host this event with you at the South Boston Citizens Association, as well as the Allied War Veterans Council. I see Bernie here, so he's busy getting the awards together, so thank you very much for that. I also want to just thank you so much to the Boys and Girls Club for once again hosting us here. It's always wonderful to be here in the Boys and Girls Club in South Boston, as well as to have the Boston University Band. They just had to get to another event, so I did want to just give a shout out to the University Band. It's always great to have them here as well. The Lexington Minutemen and the Knox Guard, thank you for all of what you do. The ROTC Color Guard, can we give a shout out to the Color Guard? They did a great job today. I also did want to say, it is so wonderful to look out in this audience and see so many students and parents and teachers. It's just what this is all about, is celebrating intergenerational love for this place and respect for our history. So thank you all for being here. Good morning. I'm Michael Creasy, as Tommy said. I'm the superintendent of the National Parks of Boston, and on behalf of the National Park Service, we want to welcome all of you to this event today for Evacuation Day 249. I would like to extend a warm welcome and sincere gratitude to our honored guest. And I know that Congressman Lynch is not here today because he had another commitment in Washington, but I can tell you that Congressman Lynch is so behind Evacuation Day, as well as preparing for the 250th, and has shown great support for the restoration of the monument, as well as Thomas Park and the grounds. But it takes support at many, many levels. And Mayor Wu, thank you for your generosity, your continued support, and your courageousness over these last several weeks. Thank you for what you do. Senator Collins, you're always here, you're always supportive, and you're always a fun guy, so thank you for being here and all of what you do at the Senate side. Representative Beal, you also are not only a great supporter, but a pretty good amateur historian as well, so thank you for all of what you do. And Councilors Flynn, as well as Lejeune. I don't know if I saw Councilor Murphy here as well, but thank you all for being here, councilors, and your support. A place like Dorchester Heights, as we all know, is both a neighborhood park, but it also represents something important to our nation, as well as international significance. You have always been respectful in that intersection between a local park and understanding the national significance and importance of Dorchester Heights. We are so very thankful for the Eagerly Family Boys and Girls Club for hosting us. But I can tell you, next year, we're packing our bags and we'll be up on the heights again. So we're looking forward to the 250th. The restoration of Dorchester Heights has truly been monumental. It marks this milestone event, and we will be completed within the year. As many of you know, we began this transformation project with multiple millions of dollars appropriated from the Great America's Outdoors Act. To date, the rehabilitation of the monument has included amazing amount of work. If anybody's walked up there recently, it's just amazing to see it just popping from the landscape into the sky. But we began with really the rehabilitation of the monument itself. We literally took block by block down, put it into what we called the boneyard, tagged and marked every single piece of the granite block, and then structurally supported it. And if we needed to repair it, we went down to its original quarry where it was quarried in Georgia and fixed and repaired the granite or the marble. So it's amazing to see what's been done on the monument itself. It literally was taken down and is now back up. What's really amazing too is just how majestic it sits on the hill. And that should be open to the public, so we've installed stairs to get inside the monument for special occasions, certainly for the 250th. We've installed an interior staircase, and the brickwork on the inside have been restored. The new roofing is topped with the original weather vane, so it's fully functional and is re-gilded into its original splendor. New lighting and ventilation systems will ensure that this monument will perform as intended. Similarly, the grounds of Thomas Park also received extraordinary investments and treatments. Deep footings underground support the gracefully curving stairs and retaining walls. Newly configured walkways create an accessible path from the neighborhoods to the monument. Underneath the fresh sod, an upgraded drainage system manages storm drains, and a new irrigation system will help to ensure that new and existing vegetation thrives. It has truly been a monumental endeavor thus far, and we are excited that the monument and the grounds will be open for all to enjoy, particularly as we look forward to the 250th anniversary next year. Following the evacuation of the British, George Washington wrote to the townspeople of Boston, applauding their resilience during the siege. He said, "Your virtuous efforts in the cause of freedom and the unparalleled fortitude with which we have sustained the greatest of all human calamities justly entitles you to the grateful remembrance of your American brethren." The Dorchester Heights Monument helps us do just that. And with this restoration, we are ensuring that it will continue to help people remember and be inspired by their collective history, as we are excitedly looking forward to the 250th anniversary next year and into the years, decades, and centuries to come. Thank you all very much for coming. Thank you to all the sponsors. Happy Evacuation Day. It's Massachusetts' Independence Day. I'll turn it back to you, Tommy.
Testing, testing. Let's see if this one works better.
Thank you, Michael. That better? Yeah? I did forget one thank you. Without you students participating in all our events, and especially the poster and essay contest, and coming here today, thank you very much. At this time, our next speaker, bringing greetings and maybe a holiday in the future. Those of you who don't know, we're pushing to get this holiday back, so I want you to know, and we're going to need the mayor's help. Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, how's the sound? Is that okay? Can you hear me? Okay, I will do my best to be loud. Happy Evacuation Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. This is such an important moment for Boston as we're headed into a really big milestone and celebration next year with 250 years, where people from all around the world are going to come to Boston, to Massachusetts, to understand how our country was born. And you all who are here today, I'm talking to the students especially, have an important role to play in that. I am so thankful for the South Boston Citizens Association and all of the community members who keep this going year after year after year, whether it is on rainy days or under sunny skies. We are here and we're making sure we're passing down that history. I want to first lift up the work of our National Park Service and the dedicated employees. Thank you, Superintendent Creasy, to your entire team. As you all might know, this is maybe the most busy couple of years for our Boston-based National Park Service employees, but it also comes at a time when they are facing cuts and stresses, and I just want to applaud all the men and women of the Park Service for what they do every day, and we are with you. We're going to try to find a way to do this together. To Tommy and everyone who has made this last month such a fun and welcoming and community-oriented set of events, thank you, thank you. Congratulations to Senator Collins, who did a great job yesterday with the breakfast, and now I'm hopefully is a little bit able to relax after such a big endeavor. Representative Beal, Councilor Flynn, Clerk Powers, thank you for all that you do in the neighborhood. And City Council President Ruthie Lujan has been there at every single event, inside, outside, all over the place. She probably has as many green dresses as I do, as I'm seeing at this point. So thank you for your leadership of the council as well. I want to shout out our Commissioner of Veteran Services, the best Veterans Commissioner in the country, Commissioner Rob Santiago. Thank you. And we have other members of our team, Anna White and others in the House as well. And of course, our South Boston Neighborhood Liaison, who's I think busy up on stage, Lydia Pulaski. So thanks again to the JROTC Color Guard from Excel High. Thank you to our duty service members, our veterans, our Gold Star families, and everyone who has served our country. You help keep the flames of freedom alive and preserve the principles on which our nation was founded. These are the principles that guided Paul Revere on his famous Midnight Ride, the principles that led the people of Charlestown to defend Bunker Hill, Breeds Hill, and that led General Washington and the people of South Boston to drive the British from our city so many years ago. And that's what we're here to celebrate today. Liberty, democracy, the strength that is right here in our neighborhoods dating back hundreds of years, with a little bit of green sprinkled in as well. These principles are especially important right now, in a moment where there are so many who are struggling, and there's so many divided conversations about how to move forward for our country's future. We need everyone, in some ways, to remember the principles of our history. Boston has always stood for speaking our mind, doing the right thing, and taking care of each other, making sure that we are defending each and every one of our community members for the best possible future for all of us. We know what happened here nearly 250 years ago, that a group of business owners and farmers, silversmiths and merchants, who were all fed up with the rule of tyranny, won out against what was then the greatest military force in the world. After enduring 11 months of siege with the odds stacked against them, the Continental Army took control of Dorchester Heights under cannon fire, cutting off a main entry point for British supplies, leaving the British no choice but to evacuate. That victory, our victory, was George Washington's first of the war, and showed the rest of the colonies that there was a chance to fight for our independence and forge our future. Boston led the nation 250 years ago, and we have every year since. Our people have been at the forefront every generation of innovation and advancement and defining the public good. We stand today on the same ground. We walk those same streets. Our city may look a little different. We may be looking down at our screens when we're walking on the streets. We've built new housing and new parks, added schools, dug subway tunnels, but we have never changed who we are. So thank you so much for being a part of making Boston who we are. Almost as incredible as what happened up at Dorchester Heights nearly 250 years ago is the fact that we are still talking about and familiar with the details nearly 250 years ago today. That ties us to our history and the legacy that we're a part of, but it also is a sign of the responsibility that each one of us have to keep telling that story so that future generations will also know where we come from and who we are. You all are telling that story today. So the most important guests today are our students. Can anyone who's here as a winner, I know you're going to get recognized one by one, but can all the winners of the poster and essay contest please stand so we can give you a round of applause? And can every student who is here, who has studied this, who is part of this, who is learning about the history, can every one of our students please stand? Thank you. Great job. We are counting on all of you, and we are going to see you next year when the beautiful monument is redone and finished, and we can't wait to celebrate with you all then. So now it is my honor to pass it over to State Senator Nick Collins.
Thank you, Mayor Wu. Thank you to the South Boston Citizens Association, their entire committee. They have a great team that's been doing a lot of work over the last month with the historical exercises. To Father Joe, their chaplain, who said a beautiful mass across the street at St. Augustine's Chapel, which is the oldest Catholic place of worship in New England. The National Park Service, not for just their participation in this event, but for their work, their commitment. It's a difficult project, and we're grateful that they've stayed the course on the rehabilitation of Dorchester Heights. To the Colonel Henry Knox Guard, Knox, as some of you may know, but not a lot of people do, was Irish American. His parents were Irish immigrants. He was a student at Boston Latin School till the 9th grade, until he lost his father, and he had to participate in bringing resources home. So I also want to thank the Boys and Girls Club, Josh Davis, director here, along with Tim Bothwell, the director of operations, and their great team, and the glue that makes the club and so much in our community in its success around these times of years. Patty McCormick. To Congressman Lynch, who's not with us, but in spirit, for his commitment and determination to get the funding for the rehabilitation of Dorchester Heights. My colleagues in government who have been here supporting these historical exercises this past month. Representative Beal, Councilor Flynn, Mayor Wu. Mayor Wu, thank you for being a good sport, as always, and for your support and continued support of our community's history and traditions, and for our historic parade, and has been supportive of our historic route, and we hope that we can continue to count on that. Madam President, we hope that we can continue to count on your support for this historic route, for the Evacuation Day and St. Patrick's Day Parade to go around Dorchester Heights. As for making Evacuation Day a holiday, that's a home rule petition I can get behind. And to the students and the parents, for your commitment to education and supporting the growth of our youth. The former president of the association who passed over a decade ago, Michael Bear, used to say, if you don't know your history, then you got no future. And I think that's important that you're digging into our history, understanding where we came from and how, what risks were taken to make sure that we have our freedoms here in the United States and allows us to be all we can be. With that, I want to thank you all for having me, and a happy Evacuation Day and St. Patrick's Day. Next, I would like to welcome my colleague and good friend who's been a great champion. He kicked off the historical exercises on March 1st down at the Sea Point. Representative David Beal.
Thank you, Senator, for that kind introduction. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy Evacuation Day, everybody. It's an honor to be with you here today. As we've heard and will continue to hear, we're celebrating our history today. Not just our history as Americans, but also our history as Bostonians. Just up the street at Dorchester Heights marks one of the foundational victories of the American Revolution. It was a culmination of a lot of hard work. General Henry Knox, who was a bookseller before joining the Continental Army, led a 300-mile trek from Fort Ticonderoga in the middle of a harsh New England winter over frozen lakes, rivers, swamps, with tons of cannons and armaments. And they were put up the street and directed at occupying British forces below who were occupying the city of Boston. And when the British awoke the next day, they looked up, saw the fortified heights, and General Howe, the British commanding officer, is quoted as saying, "My gosh, these gentlemen have accomplished in one night what would have taken my troops 3 months to do." And recognizing and not wanting to repeat what had happened and the losses sustained at Bunker Hill, the British left Boston without a shot being fired. An amazing accomplishment, and that's our history. It happened here in our neighborhood. And I remember when I was younger, as a student, being seated in the audience, my parents talking to me about the history of Evacuation Day. And I'm just so blessed to be able to share that history with my daughter. We look forward to doing that, and just want to thank all of those who have continued to pass on our history to us. Bernie O'Donnell, who is the chair of this event, past president of the South Boston Citizens Association, chairs this event every year, does a great job coming up with topics for essays and posters to make sure that we're teaching our young people where we came from and who we are as a people. So, Bernie, I want to thank you for all that you do. And I also want to thank Bob Allison, our local historian. I learn a lot from Bob. I continue to learn a lot from Bob. Next year is a big year, not just for Boston, but for the Commonwealth. We're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the American Revolution. We know it started here, but I do want to thank Bob, who, alongside Senator Collins, worked with my office to put together a state commission to make sure that we're organizing events across the Commonwealth to recognize things that happened in South Boston, in Lexington, in Concord, in Charlestown. So I want to thank you for your leadership and expertise on this issue and on this topic. But it's going to be a big year, so stay engaged, stay involved. Congratulations to all the winners. And with that, I have the honor and privilege of bringing up our good friend and neighbor, Boston City Councilor Eddie Flynn.
Thank you, Representative Beal. I'm honored to be here with my neighbors in South Boston. I want to say thank you to the South Boston Citizens Association for so many wonderful events that you organized over the last 30 days or so, especially events for youth in sports or academics. But the South Boston Citizens Association is about bringing people together. And want to say thank you to the South Boston Citizens Association, to the South Boston Allied War Veterans Association. I want to congratulate the award recipients and your families as well that are here for the incredible job you're doing in school. You're working so hard. I know your family is proud of you, but so is your community. And my final point I do want to make is we are celebrating 250 years, but we also want to remember the men and women from South Boston that served in the United States military for so many years and gave up their life in order for us to be here, to celebrate our history, to celebrate freedom and democracy. And Superintendent, that's exactly what you were doing as Superintendent of the National Park Service, bringing people together, celebrating our history. So I want to acknowledge the National Park Service. I want to say thank you to Mayor Wu, the City of Boston, my colleagues in government, Councilor Louis Jean, Councilor Murphy, the State Rep, David Beal, and Senator Nick Collins as well. John Powers does a wonderful job in the clerk system. It's my privilege now to give it back to Tommy McGrath. I take that back. I want to recognize the City Council President, Rutzi Uijen.
Thank you, Councilor Flynn, and good morning, everyone. Happy Evacuation Day, happy St. Patrick's Day. I want to thank all of my colleagues and everyone who basically said everything. It's so important for us to remember our local history. It's next year is the 250th, and so many of our neighborhoods have such an important role to play in the telling of the story. I want to thank Bob, because I was sitting next to him and I was asking him questions about the overlap and the relationship between St. Patrick's Day and Evacuation Day, and he reminded me that the legislation that made Evacuation Day a holiday was signed in green and black ink, and that the password during the battle was St. Patrick. And so there's so much for us to elevate. My first job as a 14-year-old here was as a tour guide of our neighborhoods, and so it's important that we celebrate that history. So I want to thank the South Boston Citizens Association and the South Boston Allied War Veterans Alliance for all the work that they do to make sure that South Boston is part not only of this city's history, but also of this nation's history. So shout out to all of the students. You are really the reason why I always make sure I come, because I think it's so great that that you know the history, and that you learn the history, and that you write about it, because we know that history repeats itself if we don't know it. And so it's important that we celebrate that history. I want to thank Superintendent Creasy, just like everyone else did, for the work that you are doing under insurmountable challenges, really. So we just thank you. And I just want to make sure that everyone knows that the city of Boston, we are a city that celebrates the fullness of our history, so that we can make sure that the generations to come know the ancestors, the work that they did, so that we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today. So thank you, and I guess I'm passing it over to Tommy McGrath.
So, Madam President, I'm going to have one of the students come up to your office this week, start writing that home rule petition for the holiday. We got it. We'll get it. Bob, get that ink. It's poster and essay time, announcing the winners. At this time, I'm going to bring the chairman of the poster and essay contest up, Bernie O'Donnell. We got a crew over there to pass them on. I won that.
Lydia.
Yeah, Lydia and any other staff member of the elected officials is more than welcome to come up and help us pass them out.
Thank you. Who? Go right up to you. Good morning. First off, before I want to thank all the students, the schools, the teachers, the parents for urging your students to take part in the essay and poster contest. This has been going on since the beginning of when the South Boston Citizens Association were recognizing that great monument up at Dorchester Heights in the combination of Evacuation Day, St. Patrick's Day. I want to also thank the South Boston Allied War Veterans. They made an excellent choice as the Chief Marshal. I only have one suggestion. The Chief Marshal was my niece, Lieutenant Commander Alana Ball. But I would also recommend at some point there's a second-class Chief Petty Officer in my household, Laura O'Donnell McDonough, who was in Operation Enduring Freedom, also a Navy veteran. All right, at this point, I'd like to, which is no story, this is like a regurgitate from last year, basically. But we have first place winner from Boston Latin School, Ian White. Ian, come on. Just go right over here, And can I make a request? I make a request that all the winners go right over here for a group photo at the end, but just go right over there. Thank you, Ian. Second place, strangely in the same household, strangely from the same high school, Boston Latin Academy, Morgan White. I got Boston Latin School. Oh, I'm sorry. Then I'm just... Hey, I'm lucky I know where I am right now. Sorry. All right. Morgan White. I remember one year up here, I confused where we got what was it? The cannons from. I'm not going to go through that again. All right, 6th grade, 6th to 8th grade. First place, hope I get this name right, Elias Vancina, Boston Latin School. Second place, I don't believe the student may be here, but I'll make the announcement. Sinya Siddiqui, also from Boston Latin School, second place. We'll put a hold on that. Third place, Boston Latin School, Flora Mae Sheehan. We may have to hold that also. I know. Some of them told me they were going to make it. Some didn't. All right. We have a couple of third place. Maddie Quirk, South Boston Catholic Academy. Maddie Quirk. We'll have to hold that. All right. Another third place from the Condon School. Harmony Sheffield Green. Also another third place, South Boston Catholic Academy, Kate Hardy. Hold that one. All right. Now, for the posters, and also at the end of the ceremony, the young men and women can pick up their posters. All right. In the 5th grade, South Boston Catholic Academy, Kate Manning. Second place from South Boston Catholic Academy, Chase Griffin. Third place from South Boston Catholic Academy, Sloan Craigie. All right, 4th grade. First place, South Boston Catholic Academy, Cameron Mothhandler. No. All right. Second place, South Boston Catholic Academy, Rudolph Kiev. Third place, South Boston Catholic Academy, and there's two. Charlie Canada. And the last third place winner, Phoebe Francis. All right. Another one we hold. All right. Third grade, first place, South Boston Catholic Academy, Caitlin Storm. Second place from St. Peter's Academy, Eden Robinson. All right, and finally, third place winner from South Boston Catholic Academy, Luke Costello. Again, it gets a round of applause for all the winners. Okay. Kids and parents, well, you don't want to lose anything, but in the white envelopes in each one of the folders they have, there is a white envelope. There's money in it. So don't let them lose that. All right? And I want to thank also, we have other people, Tommy had already, we want to thank the 250 committee and the Freedom Trail people. There are various passes in their folders. Thank you very much. If people can get up, if the elected officials come up, we can get some pictures. Thank you.
I ask you, hello, hey, a couple more minutes and we're finishing up. Folks, at this time, probably the smartest guy in history in the room today. I know way smarter than me. I also learned a lot from Mr. Bob Allison. If you do get a chance, you should probably read a couple of his books. He's he's a true gentleman, and he's just a very intelligent man. Bob Allison.
Thank you, Tommy. You know, in March of 1775, no one knew what was going to happen next. We in Boston knew that Parliament was planning something. There were rumors of reconciliation. There were also rumors of a crackdown on these rebellious Bostonians. Henry Knox began building a fort in Roxbury to keep the British in Boston, a star-shaped fort. No one knew what was going to happen next. We know that in April a war broke out. We know that at Lexington and Concord there were skirmishes. We knew that in May there was actually a naval engagement between Chelsea and what is now East Boston. And we know that the war went on for 8 more years. We know it was a long war. We know what happened next, but no one in 1775 knew what was going to happen next. But they planned, they prepared, and over the next 8 years they built a nation. So I don't really have much to say about history today. One of the great things about being part of this event is I always learn about history both from the posters and essays that the students write, as well as from our mayor and our city councilor and our state rep and state senator who tell this story so well. This is the story that does not belong to historians like me. It belongs to all of you. I won't be here in 50 years when the nation celebrates its 300th anniversary. You will be. This is your story to keep telling, to keep sharing. It's really wonderful to see kids from the schools in the city, particularly the Condon School. It's great to see so many of the Condon School students here today to participate in this. Walking through the rain to be part of this event, and next year we'll all walk up to the top of the Heights to be part of the event there as we celebrate the 250th anniversary. not just of Evacuation Day, which we hope by then will be a state holiday once again, but it's also the Independence Day of Massachusetts. This was the first defeat of the British Army, the first time American forces forced the British to turn around and leave. And this is really the beginning of the War for Independence. Lexington and Concord play their role, but the important event was the evacuation of Boston. And I want to thank all of you for being part of this and for continuing to be part of this. For the 249th, the 250th, the 251st, years that end in odd numbers as well as even numbers, this is your story. Keep it alive. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to bring up any veterans, past or present, to come up and help laying of the wreath. We cannot do it up at Dorchester Heights today, so we ask the veterans to be on the right-hand side of the wreath holder, and the South Boston Citizens Association to come up on the left-hand side. And any elected official, Michael, you're welcome to join us. If we could ask everybody to rise for the playing of the taps. Thank you all for coming.